Hey y'all, get ready for Conversations with Deborah Franklin. Sit back, relax, grab you something to drink because we're getting ready to dive right in with conversations for the grown and sexy. Hey, everybody, what's up? What's up? Hey, y'all, I'm so excited about tonight. Well, y'all know I'm excited every night. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't even know why I keep saying it, but I just have to keep saying it because just like you, I am excited every time I get a chance to just stand, well, not necessarily stand, but be able to speak to the people and be able to share with you every night, every Thursday night. I'm so excited about what we're doing. I'm so excited about where we're going, y'all. We're getting ready to lift off and go to another level. We're getting ready to set some things off. We're getting ready to show you what it looks like to really be what? A church girl CEO on multiple levels. We got some things that again, you know what? I can't help it. We're just gonna go ahead and launch out with the announcements for tonight. Y'all, we got two major things happening next month. Two. We got Church Girl CEO magazine that is going to be launching. I can't wait to tell you who's going to be on the cover. It's going to be amazing. And we have the Church Girl CEO virtual conference where it's open for everybody, men and women, to join us in. We're going to be talking about bridging that gap between ministry and business because so many times we get stuck in that part of I'm in church, so I can't charge, or I don't need this and I don't need that. Good job, please get over it. We are getting ready to do some things during the Church Girl CEO virtual conference that's like none other. I can't wait to tell you who our VIP is going to be, but we're going to be launching that out, y'all. We got some fabulous speakers. The speakers are already set and secure and ready to roll. The speakers are set. Be on the lookout. We're going to be start posting about who our speakers are, but most of all, get ready because March is going to be like none other. Whenever you're seeing this, you're going to have to make sure y'all got to make sure you tag somebody, hashtag replay, share it. I don't care what you got to do. I'm gonna be like Olita Adams. You just got to get that however you can because I don't care what you got to do, but you need to make sure you are following us on everything that we are doing. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel. Y'all, we got two YouTube channels. Yeah, I said it, two. One for Conversations with Deborah Franklin, but most of all, we have one for Church Girl CEO. Now, for the conference, anything that's going to be posted on YouTube for the conference will only be on Church Girl CEO. So you need to go follow the YouTube channel of Church Girl CEO. Yeah. So now that I have gotten the Church Girl CEO announcements out the way, let's rock and roll and let's get on into motivational moment. Y'all know my favorite time of the show. Now, this is the crazy part. So, y'all know I tend to like scroll through and do things and go on different places and look at different things. So, I was going into this one site and it was really cool. Hey, Jackie. Hey, what's up? What's up, girl? What's up? Um, I was going through and I was scanning some sites. So, and this caught my eye and I was like, really? And it said, turn no into good. Yeah. It said turn no into good. I was like, what that mean? Because that kind of like threw me off when I saw it. And y'all know me. So I scrolled through and I read, and it was like anytime somebody tells you no, or you get told no, you get turned down, you just turn it into good. So you got canceled, and I'm using the whole post, and I'm gonna give Mike Beasy his credit for this because no, and then what he told me in order to use his post, because I told him I inboxed him, I said, look, I got to use this. This was hot. And he said, he said, what would be a good thing to use this post? He said to tell you guys to follow him on IG. So I'm gonna have his IG scrolling, Soul Reformation, for you guys to go over to IG and follow him on Soul Reformation. So make sure you go over and follow him because when you look at his page, he posts some really good stuff. And when I saw he said turn good into no, and then he started giving out the explanation of what that really meant. So he was like, so they told you no about the loan. So your answer should be good. They turned me down, so that's gonna help me get my credit right so I can boost it up. So they told you no at the job. So what? Now you got let go, you got fired, you got this, you got that. They told you no, but it did set you up for something good. And then that brought me right back to some things that I was just sharing with some other women and some other people the other day. And it was like I start feeling like Every time I went through something, it was like I'm rocking and rolling. I think I'm doing good, and somebody comes in and just hates on me, stabs me in the back, talk about me, lie on me. And because I don't usually see, the problem with me is that you really can't figure out who I'm hanging out with, because I tend to be that neutral person, the one that can go kiki and caca with everybody. So I can bounce around from circle to circle. I'm in the in crowd, the out crowd, the every crowd, because that's the type of personality that I have. So you gonna automatically think that I know the business. Y'all, I don't know nothing. At first I was feeling bad about it, but then I said, you know what? I'm good. The good thing is I ain't in the business. I'm not caught up in the foolishness. So I was like, yes, this makes so much sense to me. And so that you already know, it brought me to this particular scripture. It said Genesis. It said, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for my good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Now, so many times we tend to paraphrase the scripture and we say, what the devil meant for evil, God has turned it around for my good. Y'all know y'all done heard that. Y'all know y'all done seen the pastor grab his ear, lift up his other leg, saying, what the devil. Yeah, y'all know it. See, I got the hum and everything. See, that's a sign that y'all know I grew up in church. But what I'm trying to tell you is that God is setting you up for something great. Don't discount the no's that you are receiving. Don't discount the people that are hating on you. Don't discount the people that are telling you all these negative things, because you know what? That is a tool that the devil is using to distract you from where you are going and what you are about to accomplish. God is setting you up to be a leader and not a follower. God is setting you up to be the lender and not the borrower. But he cannot do that if you don't pay attention to your surroundings. You cannot let every no that you receive show you down, slow you down, turn you around, and set you up to where you can't function. Yes, so what? You've been stuck in the house. Guess what? A lot of people have used this time to start their businesses. Now, another thing is that you need to know who you are and whose you are in order to move forward and operate in the calling that you have been called to do. Because this is what we are here to do. We are here to take charge of everything that's around us. We are here to just show up and be that light that somebody has to see. And if we are walking around always worried about what somebody told us, no, get over it today. Get over it, because that no is setting you up for your good. You have been told no so much. Let me tell y'all something. I've been told no so much, I'll begin to think my name was no. And I know good doggone well my name is Deborah. But that is the thing. I did not let all those no's and those negative situations weigh me down. I took those no's and I started to develop this one thing. Tell me no. Yep, tell me no. Tell me what I can't do, boo. I'm gonna prove it to you on how I can, because with God before me, and who in the world can be against me? And so that's the mentality that I adopted. So when I started getting in, I told you guys, y'all, for those of you that have heard my story, you know that people dogged me out on the first book I wrote. Like, really? And so that could have turned me around. Now, what I got, Church Girl CEO Media, which is Church Girl CEO Publishing, because we have gone through a transformation. If I had listened to every no that I had gotten, I would have never been still in the classroom for now, I think 17, 18 years. I ain't never planned on doing that. Baby, if I had listened to every no, I wouldn't be sitting right here talking to you, because see, I was the type that I didn't think anybody wanted to hear what I had to say. I didn't think that I didn't even see the value in my life. I did not see the value of who I was, because I was self-sabotaging myself, because I started to internalize all the no's. So now you have got to release those no's from your mind, release those no's from your heart, release those no's, because you are getting ready to walk in your purpose. And while you are on your purpose, walking in your purpose, on your way to your destiny, you are going to hear the word no. But you have got to analyze that no. Is your credit right? Are you mentally ready? Do you have what it takes to go to the next step? Or did you get the no because that's the person you're not supposed to work with? Let me use this example about buying a car. You can go to 5 different lots, get 4 no's at everyone, and then the last one will tell you yes and finance you for what you want to finance. Now the payments may be a little different, but if God has told you what you have been destined to do, then you have to walk in it, and don't let those no's slow you down. Because I tell you one thing, let letting somebody tell me no again, I'm going to turn around to a yes. That's why God has to move me completely out of situations in order for me to be able to move, because he knows that he created me as a person that figures things out. I am a problem solver. That's what I have to do. So you know within your heart of hearts that you are a problem solver. You are the one you are tenacious and you have endurance. So that is why God has to shut you down completely. God has to turn it off for you completely, because that is the only way he can get you to see where you are supposed to be going in your next level. You cannot get caught up in the no. You cannot get caught up in the situation, because you have been called and destined to this. You have got to continue to walk in your divine presence. When God shows up in the midst of what you are doing, and you really start to depend on what God is telling you, I'm telling you right now, you're going to start to see yourself doing things that you've never done. I am not a person that asks for help. Just being honest. Because I'm firstborn and I was told that I had to do certain things a certain way. And so what did I do? I did them. I did what I was told to do. My daddy told me, if me or your mama can't get it, you don't ask nobody else. So that is the mentality that I had. I did not know how to ask for help. So in my mind, I have to do it all myself. But this is why when God turned that light on, you can get more with more people than you can by yourself. So this is why I've been talking about and teaching, especially in Church Girl CEO, that we have got to build a team. We have got to learn how to work with people and learn to ask for help. I literally asked somebody the other day. Normally, I don't send people stuff and say, hey, can you read this? Let me know what you think. I don't do that. Child, please. Let me ask somebody to help me out with a situation. Let me see how I can barter or work with somebody. Yeah, I know I'm on your street now. I know I'm on your street. I know I'm right there with you, because you have got to learn to operate in what God has called you to do. Don't get caught up on someone telling you no. Don't get caught up on somebody telling you, giving you criticism, especially if it's don't get caught up in the no, because for you know that God is setting you up for a yes. Because you cannot get caught up in what everybody else is saying. You cannot get caught up in what's happening around you. You have got to operate in what God has called you to do. Because what God has called you to do, nobody can shut that door. Nobody can shut that door. Now, the door that you walk through may not look like what you expected. The person that you thought was going to help you may not look and be who you expected. But just know that God is getting ready to do for you something like no other. You are getting ready to be on a whole nother level. All I got to tell you is get ready, because it is your time. It is your season. I know I keep saying this over and over again, but when it gets into your heart of hearts, you are going to see what God has called you to, because you are going to believe delivered into that. God is getting ready to send you the people that you need on your team. God is getting ready to send you the people and show you the people that are who's supposed to be in your corner. Because again, every no that you have received is setting you up for a yes. All of that, y'all. Yes, we have got to know that we are getting ready to do a new thing in this season. Well, y'all, it is your time. That ends our motivational moment for today. And if nothing else, let that know be good, because we got our guests is in the house, y'all. We getting ready to talk about some stuff y'all already know I love. My favorite thing, talking about, y'all, I tell everybody, So we're gonna be talking about Beyonce versus Sasha Fierce, and we already know that's the same person. And we're gonna talk about what that means and how that is supposed to be applied to you because you got this. And you getting ready to move to the next level. Oh, I got to invite you guys first before we get started. Every first and third Monday night, we hold bi-weekly Bible study via Zoom for Church Girl CEO, and everybody is welcome to join us. We are in there for 1 hour, starting at 7 p.m. every first and third Monday. So we're getting ready to have on. I definitely have one coming up on on Monday. So I look forward to seeing you there. If you need to get some more information on how to get that link, make sure you drop me below so I can let you know how to join us for Bible study. Well, all right, guys, our guest is in the building. We'll be right back after these messages. Well, hello.
Hello. Okay, let me.
Us.
It's so
Y'all,
weird.
tonight we are talking about we getting our mindsets together. We are talking about what this. Hey, sometimes you got to tap into your inner Beyonce, but I say, baby, maybe you need to tap into your Sasha Fierce because
You right
sometimes
about
the
that.
alter ego is the best. Sometimes that's the one we need when we walk out of here when we trying to be classy, sassy, but not ratchet. So, all right, Miss Weaver, I thank you so much for joining us tonight. I look forward to this conversation. Y'all, wait, so let me just be real transparent. Let me tell you how I met Miss Aziza. Honey, we were on Clubhouse. So I tell y'all, if you have not been on Clubhouse, you missing out on something good because the networking is real, the conversations are real, and the people that I'm gonna be honest, for the people that I have met, I have not met anybody that was fake and phony. I've only met people that were ready to rock and roll and get in and do this thing and do this thing right. Well, all right, Miss Aziza, for the people that don't know you, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself. And I'm turning this over to you. Introduce yourself to the people.
All right, all right. Well, thank you, Miss Deborah, for having me on. My name is Aziza Weaver, and I am the founder of the Ambitious Wives Club. And it is focused on helping Black ambitious women level up their life. I believe that your home life and your work life cannot be separated. So I host different events in there to help Black women do the doggone thing. That's what we're going to do. And so part of the reason I always say you got to bring out your inner Beyonce because, sometimes you have to fake it until you make it, or you just have to, like what you were saying about that. No, you know, Beyonce don't take no for an answer, right? And so sometimes, but she has to tap into her Sasha Fierce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her alter ego, and they can be one and the same, but sometimes when you're not feeling it or you're not feeling that confidence, sometimes when I say you got to fake it to your way, you just gotta, what would Beyonce do, right? Or whoever you see, what would Michelle Obama do? How about that one right there, right?
I don't know
What
if I
would
can do that because see, Michelle be like, "Go, let they go low, you go high." Sometimes I be wanting to go low with them,
but
honey. I'm just gonna
there are
be honest.
moments when you
And look,
might
and be telling me, and then be like, "Let the Lord use me," because I'm getting ready to tell them something.
girl, there are plenty of times where I'm like, who can I stay? Can I go high? I don't know, but sometimes I have to even tap into Mrs. Michelle Obama, just to maybe not show my ratchetness. How about that?
That part.
Yes. I just feel like as business women, sometimes you have to tap into that because the one thing people respect is
Mm-hmm.
confidence, right? And sometimes I think as women, sometimes we're taught to play small or like you said, not ask for help or really kind of play small, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
started having to tap into my inner Beyonce before I even knew who Beyonce was. I'm way older than Beyonce. When back in the day when I used to practice law, and
Mm.
so I was a young lawyer, right? And I was a young Black female lawyer. So every time I showed up, they wanted to send me over to do the typing. They thought it was a clerk. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, right. and they just could not believe that I was an attorney. And then I was in a very male dominated field. And so, I had to tap into that confidence so I would not let people run me over. And by the fact that they were male, and by the whole age thing, the fact that I was young at the time. Mm-hmm. So, you have to kind of tap into that inner side. I mean, I'm a confident person, but sometimes you can, be intimidated. And especially when you go into areas that you're not really used to, and maybe you don't have your stuff all the way together, or you're the only one, which happens a lot sometimes for us, or you're the first one. And so sometimes you got to tap into that so that you are not playing small or letting people run over you or being afraid, right? Sometimes you just got to tap into that so you don't be afraid and not do what you got to do to provide for your family and to take yourself to the next level.
I totally agree with you, because so many times when you are, let's just bag up, when you are a businesswoman, when you are an entrepreneur, there are so many times that we enter meetings. I don't care if it's via Zoom. I don't care if you're going into somebody's office on a phone call. You're going to have that inner feeling of turmoil going on. Let's just be real. We're going to be anxious. You're going to be nervous. But sometimes I feel like when we start talking about we have to tap into our Beyonce or our Sasha Fierce, that is our way of tapping into our confidence level. And it's like when you could say, okay, look, I got to turn Sasha Fierce on right now. So I got to be classic and I got to come for them in the same way. Because sometimes you do have to be nice, nasty. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
Girl.
All of that part.
I mean, sometimes you have to. I just had a conversation with my little cousin about, she has her own travel agency, and she was letting some family members kind of run over her. And I said, if you don't respect your business, if you don't make people respect your business, they're not going to respect your business. And sometimes as a woman in business, sometimes you got to be a little nice, nasty, right? Southern girls do it real well.
Yes, we do. We've been trained well.
My family's from Alabama very well, right? So I picked up on that, right? Like, say it real nice, but it's real. Yes.
Yeah. Because see, I'm from Texas, and so we do it short, sweet, and to the point. But you know what? And that's and I'm glad you said that. And sometimes that can be a trait that can be misunderstood, because I literally had to have people tell me, no, you're not tripping, and they just can't handle you being a direct person. Like if you ask me a question, and see, they didn't know that growing up in our household, my daddy was like, I need you to go do this. And if you had all this stuff to say, he was like, that's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. What I asked you. And so we learned how to be short and direct. And because that's how we were raised. And a lot of times people look at that as being bossy or aggressive. How do we get over that stigma of being, of just being able? Because if you're working with wives, they have to deal with their husbands, they have to deal with their children, and deal with being an entrepreneur. So what is one thing that you could say to deal with that whole trying to, I don't know how to say this, because see, I still don't know how to soften myself. How to soften that directness so we're not always misinterpreted.
I mean, I think sometimes you just got to be real transparent. So I had a little issue with my husband, and this wasn't even in business. It was just on the home front. And we were done with some contractors, right? And because I have a legal background, I wanted a contract and everything. My husband worked on a handshake and a prayer and he just worked on stuff I don't work on, right? And this particular guy, he what he would do is he would say one thing to my husband, but when he was with me, he act like whatever I said didn't go down, and then he was just flipping the script. So I had to be real direct, and my husband was, like, you talking like this and that, and I just had to say to him, I said, see, you're a man, right? So you say it's okay for you to do that, but as a woman, if just because I'm being direct doesn't mean I'm being a bitch, right? And so, I think you just have to, let people know that this is a business. If you're working in the business area, this is a business, and this is how we're going to have to do things. And being demure for me is not going to get it. This is about my money. I think just in business, you're going to have to be like that. But I think when you come home sometimes, that's when you have to take it off the boss hat sometimes. You got to decide, like,
Mm.
you got to be outcomes oriented in your household. At least that's how I
Mm-hmm.
look at it, right? So in my household, I have to be outcomes oriented. And I've had to learn because I got married late in life. I was
Mm.
40 when I married my husband. Now I was 32 when I met him, but by the time we got married, I was 40. And I was a single mother before that. So I was used to kind of being in control and everything like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn how to and I'm an alpha female, but my husband's
Mm.
super alpha. And I just realized I can't out alpha him. It was just too much work for me, right? So the one thing I will say is I just think that you got to decide what is it that I want? Like, what is the end goal in my household that I want? And
Mm-hmm.
whatever is the easiest route to get there,
Mm-hmm.
then get there. And sometimes that just means you're going to have to step back and be a teeny tiny bit softer. It
Mm.
doesn't mean that you are being less, because that was the one thing I had to, that I'm diminishing myself, that I'm playing small. My thing is, if you're being goal oriented about the situation, as long as you're getting the end result and you're
Mm-hmm.
satisfied in your heart with the way that it came, then it's okay sometimes to be soft and everything like that. Because honestly, sometimes it's tiring
Yeah.
to
And you
always,
know what? But I think we
be the
need to define
boss.
soft, because see, sometimes people misunderstand when you say I'm being soft as opposed to being non-confrontational, or um you don't have to dumb yourself down to be soft.
No.
You don't have to
Oh
make
no.
yourself less than to be soft. Is you in my mind when I hear soft for this situation, what I'm hearing is that we need to learn how to choose our words and our tone in a different way. Um, and that's something I know that's been hard for me, but I'm definitely getting better at it, especially the more and more I work with people and I talk with people. So I think that maybe that's could that be another way of looking at that as well?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think like the other way of looking at it is, I think that is a great way, because that was one of the things I was having a problem with, was like, I don't want to dump down. I think in business, generally you're just gonna have to be direct, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in your home life, it's probably where you might, because sometimes we can take that home, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so the older I get, the more I'm like, what is it that's gonna give me peace, right?
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what is gonna give me peace? And as long as I'm cool with, I never say I'm playing small, but if I take a step back and let him take over, or let him have his way, or maybe I can sit and reword some things, or really try to listen, as long as it's peace. Because when my household is not peaceful, right, then
Mm-hmm.
the problem is I can't concentrate on my business. That's the biggest
Ooh,
thing for
yeah,
me,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's messing with my mind, and that messes with my money. And that is like one of the most important things. So as long as it's not messing with your money and you can be at peace with it, maybe that's another way of looking at it as well. As
Yes,
well.
oh yeah, I totally agree with that. And then, okay, full disclosure, everybody knows. And I mean, I'm single. And so I'm single, I've never been married. So there are certain things that I can't turn off and turn on because I've never walked in that marriage thing. But like I tell everybody, I have married friends. And when they having problems, I literally tell them. And see, this is where I feel like too, to throw this in there. Hey, Bernice, that as business owners in this arena, especially as single black women, or let me just say single women, period, we have to also know how to draw that line between us and our singleness in business and dealing with men that are married, and not cross that line, because sometimes our friends and our business associates can cause problems in the home as well, because that's where I've usually seen a lot of the problems when we're crossing over, and it's because the wife doesn't understand who she is, or vice versa, the husband doesn't understand who this other man is, because they're dealing with single people. So what advice would you give in that situation?
So give me a scenario. I'm kind of interested to see how this. I mean, it doesn't have to
Okay,
be for
so
you.
this is easy.
Okay.
So you're working on a project. Okay, so okay, I'll use me. I can
Okay.
use me. This is not let me just be full disclosure. I don't have a problem with it, because most of my married friends, their wives will call me, talk about, girl, what's up? So that's how we are, because they know I draw the line. I don't call after a certain time. I don't, and if it's a problem, I usually, if I have to call the house, I usually be like, "Hey, girl, what's up? Look, can I talk to your husband? Because I need to ask him such and such, such and such, such and such." Because I go ahead and go in and break that down because you don't know what their household is like. But in the scenario that I'm talking about, because I'm a book publisher, so I deal with different types of authors. So if I have to call and email and I'm constantly emailing back about whatever they're going through, some things, if I'm doing stuff at why the only time she's sending you an email is at 2 o'clock in the morning? Why the only time she can talk to you is after 10 o'clock, and you know this is our time. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. And you and I know the answer to this one is that you really need to have set business hours, but some people operate at that time. How do you help? How could you help ease soften that situation when they seeing the emails coming at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? They getting the phone calls, they seeing the text messages. Because I think I have done this, but this person, it didn't matter with this one because they were single too, so it was not an issue. But how do you help? How can we help them in that situation to soften that from both sides?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I think like probably some of the text, we would set office hours for text messaging and phone calls, emails. I would have to tell that person, I'm gonna need you to handle your household. Okay. I mean, that's just be straight up, right? Because even as a married woman, it's still, like y'all might have some issues going on because this is clearly a business. This is clearly about money, and this is all that I'm talking about, right? So if we're having issues with emails, look, if I'm up at 2 in the morning, that's when I send my emails. That's when I send my emails. I can have respect for, I won't call after 9 o'clock. You can kind of maybe ask them, whether some cutoff time. Let's set some boundaries because you just want to be very clear. I am a businesswoman. I mean, whether you are married or single, you get hit on. Okay. I mean, you're taking care of your business. Sometimes you get hit on, and you have to just be very clear that this is a business. This is how I operate. I got an LLC, corporation, whatever, and bottom line is I can't let that emotional stuff again mess with my money. That is the biggest thing. I cannot let your household life mess with my money. And if that's going on, they got some insecurities because I wouldn't be like that, right? With my husband, because I don't have insecurities like that with my husband.
Right.
Like I'm not worried about him. Not saying that, but I'm just saying I'm not
No,
worried
I
about
totally
him.
get what you're saying. Totally get what you're saying. But you also said something else that was key. Boundaries. That is key. And I feel like this is how we get messed up in these situations when we're talking about family, we're talking about business, is that we don't set those real boundaries, because without boundaries, you're looking at crossing the line, which is easy to do. You're also talking about burnout, which can also, now that takes us all the way back to our Beyonce and our Sasha Fierce, because even Beyonce was like, she takes time off. And so that means you got to learn how to reset and recharge. So as we making this shift in our conversation, how can we start to, as we're tapping into our inner Beyonce and our Sasha Fierce, how can we start to tap into that whole piece of self-care and dealing with us? Because even when I listen to, okay, so let me just, since we're talking about Beyonce, I'm just going to stick with the Beyonce. Even when I listen to Lemonade, and when you listen to it, the song is a beast, because when you're talking about Lemonade, she's talking about everything that has been dealt to her as a woman from the years, generation. These are generational curses. So then it's like we have to learn how to release our generational curses in order to effectively do self-care. So how can we start to walk in that as we're going forward, to being released from our generational stuff as women, and then move on to being able to do the proper self-care that we need?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I think you got to start becoming very self-aware. And I know people say that, and that sounds kind of woo-woo, but I've actually kind of gone through this myself in the last year, especially with the pandemic and the virtual school. There was a point where, I was trying to manage virtual school, a business, my husband's, inconsistent, his job, which is very funny. And I was burning out actually, but I didn't realize I was burning out because I was trying to keep the same pace that I was keeping before all of that happened, right? And not realizing that stuff was really weighing on me. And then what was happening was I was waking up and my face is gonna sound really weird, but like I would wake up and my face was vibrating, my body was vibrating, like it was weird, right? It was shocking to me. It was uncomfortable, and I had looked it up, and it was a lot of anxiety, and I was like, and I had already burnt out about 2 years before that, right? And the problem is, if you've ever burned out, it takes so long to get, like, you literally feel like your wick is like someone went and it's gone, right? And then to get that up and going, and a lot of that was a lot of trauma from past, right? And just not taking care of myself. And so I think one, I haven't done therapy, but I think if you can get comfortable with therapy, do that. But if you can't afford therapy, you're not at that point right now, YouTube is a really good platform, right?
But I got to jump in on that one, because therapy, if you have a full-time job, that is one of those benefits that's free. Everybody gives EAP. The problem is most people don't tap into it, because EAP, you can go to a therapist for free at least 5 times.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so if you have a full-time job, because I know they do it for teachers, honey, and educators, almost every job that I have had, because everybody is trying to push the mental health, because people are really having problems with mental health. And it's like, well, you really have to search out for your EAP program with your job, because that is what that's for. They have where you can do telephone and in-person counseling, like like that. So it's like, I think and you know what, just like what you just said, and that just clicked to me. A lot of times we don't get the help because we don't know the services exist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was actually in Clubhouse, and this young lady talked about the doctor on demand. That's where she does her therapy. You can get it right on your phone.
Yep.
Right on your phone.
Yep.
So if you're an entrepreneur and you don't have access to that, I did not know that. And you're right. A lot of times we don't get this stuff because we don't know about the services. But if you don't have the ability, say you're working for yourself or whatever, like at the particular point in time I was working for myself, I went on YouTube. I was listening to a lot of TDJ. I was just listening to whatever it was that I knew I was kind of dealing with at the time. And then lately, honey, I have been a big proponent of getting a massage. Oh my God. Going and getting a massage, it literally releases my mind. Like, it sounds like it's a luxury, but this is it's almost like a therapy. It's almost a necessity, right? Even if you commit once a month, and if you go and get one, and get 90 minutes, get your night, go on Groupons. They got plenty of coupons if you can't, and get.
I love Groupon.
I love a Groupon, girl. And the thing is, it's the release of your mind, and then your creativity can flow. That's what I was more shocked about, was like my mind space opened up, right? And so I was able to come back and go to work and like shake off all that stress. So, we got to start normalizing self-care. I think especially in the Black community, it is not like, it's considered like, girl, you got time to do that? Girl, you need to make time to do that.
Right. And you know what? Self-care is more than just going to get your nails done.
I mean, you could run you a bath water and put you some lavender oil in there.
Right. But see, a lot of times people think, well, I do self-care. I go get my nails, I go get a manicure and a pedicure. But y'all, self-care, even though I do consider that part of my self-care regimen, I call it, that's my tapping into my vanity, which is what I don't normally do a lot. But it's like, that's still part of my self-care, because I literally tell people, a lot of my friends know, don't call me on, let's say, on Fridays. Usually I go on Fridays. I turn the phone off because I feel like that's my end of my week, because I don't like going on Saturdays because everybody there on Saturday. So I go on Friday, cut the phone off, then I go take me out to eat or go get something and bring it back. But that's what I do for self-care. And so the thing is, I think you need to designate a time and call it self-care. But the massage thing, I'm definitely getting ready to get back and
Oh,
incorporate
girl,
into my
yes.
thing.
And get add some hot stones onto your package. You'll never stop.
Yes. You, girl, if y'all ain't tried them hot stones in your manicure, your pedicure, or your massage, you done missed out. Your life ain't gonna be right. I promise you, you try it one time, it's a wrap. You're gonna be like, oh baby, where them stones? Because honey, especially if they know what they're doing. Now I have had
Yeah.
somebody that didn't know what they were doing. I was like, oh baby, that's too hot. But they really know, like, oh, and I like a little heat. But
But not, I want to be burnt.
not that high, not that high, baby, not that high. But when you get somebody that does it right, it is wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and honestly, I'm really thinking about doing a church girl CEO self-care retreat because a lot of times,
Ooh.
especially if you are in ministry and you work in ministry, y'all, and I'm not talking about the people with a title, I'm talking everybody. I don't care from the pulpit to the usher board. If you work anywhere, oh yeah, and dedicated pew member, them too, because they working in ministry. Is that a lot of times we get so caught up with working in ministry and doing ministry that we forget to take care of ourselves and we hit that burnout. So then we can't tap into our inner Beyonce. We can't tap into our inner Sasha Fierce because we're, like you said, going through burnout. And when you said just blowing on the wick, all I could see was a wick with no wax.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how I
Just
felt,
empty.
like there was nothing, empty. I was empty.
Mhm.
And I didn't like that feeling at all. And it took me like 6 months. That
Mhm.
was way too long to get to fill my cup back up. It was crazy.
And and a lot of times, so let's go here because we're almost out of time, but we got to go here. What would you tell somebody? What advice can you give us just to help fill us back up? But out, with the self care, with the massages, what advice would you give to somebody that's going through not being able to tap into their inner Sasha Fierce or their inner Beyonce to go to that next level to where they want to go?
I would say find someone who you admire, like if it's a coach or, just someone who you admire who's maybe doing what you're doing, or like I say, even on YouTube, and borrow some of their confidence.
Mm.
Right? Keep listening to them. Like there was a time where I could not tap into it. I was working. I had built this company into a multi-million-dollar company, and it was a family member, and then he gave me an offer that I was like, that ain't gonna work. And I had, the company was like my baby, and then I had a baby, and so I just left, right? And I was actually really devastated. Literally felt like I was divorced, like a divorce from that
Mhm,
whole
mhm.
situation. And I was lost, and I literally could see like I had lost myself. Like this here, no, honey, I was not looking. No, I didn't even know who I was, right? So I spent a lot of time listening to a lot of motivational stuff,
Mm.
right? Just stuff that was reminding me of who I am or who I was. I had to find her again. And I mean daily. And sometimes I would sit in the shower and cry, but I mean daily I was listening to motivational stuff to get me going. And then the thing is, once you start doing that, what happens is it's it's like the world opens up, and you'll find yourself being led to the next person that
Mhm.
will inspire you, and to the next thing, until you start finding yourself again or finding your path again. But you got to start it. You got to start it, and then like the momentum will kick in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because
Yeah,
um, just filling yourself with positivity is
you
really,
have to.
you have to do that because, and sometimes everybody know my favorite song, one of my favorite songs is Donna Laura's Speak Over Yourself. Because sometimes you got to
Mm.
tell you that you okay. And when you start to tell yourself that enough, then you'll start to believe it. And then you're going to start hearing it from other people. And I think a lot of times we just don't take the time to encourage ourselves and just be able to be okay with the situation that we're in. And it's like not to
Yep.
settle in it, but to be okay in it and then start trying to figure out ways of getting out of it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. You gotta realize sometimes it's a season, and the season will only last as long as you let it. And the biggest thing that I had to learn even during that time was really honestly, no one was coming to save me but me.
Mm.
Like nobody, the only person who can save you is you. And you got to get to a point where you like will refuse to let yourself keep going down this path that you're not want to go down, or if you're feeling like depression, like keep letting yourself like you. This got to just be a moment where like I refuse to let that happen. There was a moment even recently because when the pandemic first started, um, I I don't know. I just felt this intense need to run away, and
Mm.
like I was feeling trapped in the house, and I was feeling trapped with virtual school. I was just feeling trapped. And so the first thing I did honestly was I kept voicing to my husband, I want to run away, which I'm sure he was like, what is going on with her, right? But I had to voice it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, I had to work my way out of it. Well, recently I could tell that feeling was coming again, right? And so I was like, I refuse to go down that path again. I
Mm.
refuse to go down that path again. You're going to save yourself. You're going to do whatever you need to do to move yourself forward. Which, by the way, led me to Clubhouse, led me to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just
Oh.
saying, right? Led me on here. You just never know because I was working on myself because I was intentional about
Mm.
saving me. Not waiting for my husband to save me, not waiting for some job to save me, not waiting for whoever to save me. I was intentional on saving myself so I could be of service to my community and my family and things like that.
And that was very powerful because we have got to be intentional. And when we are intentional, then that's when we can start to see the things around us and the connection around us start to pull in those
Yes.
people that we need. And so many times we kind of talk down the laws of attraction, but it is what it is. Until we are feeling good within us and we are intentional about what we are aspiring to do, is the only time that we really can receive the people that are around us,
Yeah,
and what's
absolutely.
going on. Yes, we have to be intentional about it. There's no other way to do it. We have to be intentional about it. And
And and if
go
they're
ahead.
feeling shame, if they're feeling shamed about listening to this stuff, whatever, I would sit and put the earphones on in my bed. So, I didn't want nobody hearing what I was doing because you have to be that intentional. Like you gotta be so on purpose about
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah. Because if you're not on purpose about you, ain't nobody else gonna be on purpose about you
Girl, ain't nobody.
either. Yes,
Not
all
a
of
thing.
that. All of that. All of that. And it's just that, you just have to know that we are here for a reason, and we have to be intentional about what we're doing because I tell everybody, even Jesus went away to pray. Even Jesus took some time. Okay, let's bag it all up. Even God took a day off. And that means that if our creator does it and our savior does it, then that's what we have to do as well, because we were created in what? His image. And if that is the case, then we have got to start to follow those same footsteps in doing what we have to do. Well, lady, oh my God, it has been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm so glad that you joined us. I'm going to give it over to you. If you could just give everybody one positive note, and then tell them how to find you, how to follow you.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for having me on. And ladies, just once again, really, it's okay to be focused on you right now. It's very okay. Like they said in the airplane, you got to put your mask on first before you say everybody else. So really, really, just work on putting your mask on first and paying attention to what's going on in your body and what's going on in your mind, and refuse to go down that path of negativity. Just refuse it. Just say, I'm not having it. So anyway, thank you, ladies, for allowing me to be on here and for taking the time out of your day to listen to what we have to say. I know you have a whole host of things that you could be doing otherwise, so I really appreciate it. My name is Aziza Weaver, and you can find me over on Instagram at the Ambitious Wives Club. Thank you,
Awesome,
Deborah.
awesome, awesome. I appreciate you for joining us. And we have just had so much fun tonight. But y'all, as always, I love you to life and ain't nothing you can do about it. See you next time.